Disney is releasing Mulan on Disney+, and it could have a major effect on everything from the MCU to movie theaters. When Donny Osmond sang "Let's get down to business to defeat the Huns" as Shang in 1998's animated classic Mulan, the House of Mouse clearly took the first half of that sentence to heart. On an earnings call on Tuesday, Disney CEO Bob Chapek revealed their big-budget live-action Mulan adaptation will finally come out on September 4th, not in theaters, but on Disney Plus for a fee of $29.99, in addition to that service's monthly $6.99 subscription fee. In markets without access to Disney Plus and markets where theaters are open, Mulan will still release in theaters on the same day. And Disney clarified that the $29.99 rental fee is not just for a one-time viewing. Once you pay it, you have access to the film for as long as you're subscribed to the Disney Plus service. Now, the internet's initial reaction can be best summed up by Mushu in the 1998 original.
Dishonor on your whole family. Make a note of this.
Mulan, which was originally supposed to come out on March 27th, has had a rocky road to release. It was delayed to July 24th, then to August 21st, and now, at long last, it's finally dropping on September 4th, but not how many imagined it would. Now, by and large, the reaction to this news seemed mixed, with many folks excited for the chance to finally see this movie, and many others wondering why they had to pay such a seemingly exorbitant amount of money to rent a movie they wouldn't even own, in addition to paying a monthly service fee. Now, compared to Universal's Trolls World Tour, which launched at a $19.99 premium VOD offering and made nearly $100 million in rentals according to CNBC, well, Mulan and its price point kind of felt like highway robbery, especially when so many folks are out of work due to the ongoing coronavirus pandemic. Others raised the issue that sending a movie like Mulan, one with massive global appeal, enormous box office projections, and an Asian cast to Disney Plus, did it a disservice in terms of representation on the global stage. Candyman director Nia DaCosta tweeted, "I wasn't particularly interested in Mulan, but it's a bummer that a film of this scope with an Asian cast won't have its due, a worldwide theatrical release. We should all pay close attention to the movies whose theatrical releases are protected and those that are not." Entertainment writer Piacina Roy added, "Respectfully, if you don't know what it's like to have never seen yourself reflected on screen, especially in Disney movies, then refrain from your opinions on whether you'll spend a mere $30 to watch something that puts an Asian cast front and center in a heroic tale." Prolific pop culture podcaster David Chen tweeted, "Gotta say it's pretty discouraging to see 95% of the white film critics I admire and respect on my timeline declare they're not willing to fork over $30 for Mulan. Okay, fine, most of Disney's remakes have been cash-grabbing garbage, but I'm still excited about this one." Chen also added, "Aladdin 2019 felt like a cheap recreation of the film you'd see at the theme park. The Lion King 2019 may have actively hurt my childhood, but it was still meaningful that these films finally had black and brown people in the main roles. Sad Mulan won't get a similar release." While my own interactions on Twitter are admittedly anecdotal, a prevailing sentiment I saw was that this is just far too expensive for an individual viewer. But Disney Plus has first and foremost marketed itself as a family-friendly platform. So yeah, paying $29.99 might be too much for a single movie in addition to a monthly subscription fee if you're an individual viewer. But for a family of 4, for example, it's far cheaper than a typical afternoon at the movies would cost. That could be over $100, especially if you factor in things like parking and concessions. But the real question is this the start of a major new trend for Disney? How could this affect movies like Black Widow, which is currently targeting a November 6th release date? When asked about Black Widow and future theatrical releases on the earnings call, Disney CEO Bob Chapek cautioned that this seismic shift in release strategy isn't as seismic a shift as it clearly is. "We're looking at Mulan as a one-off, as opposed to saying there's some new business windowing model we're looking at." But Chapek also followed up those comments by saying, "That said, we find it very interesting to be able to take a new offering to consumers at the $29.99 price point and learn from it and see what happens." So Disney's clearly rolling the dice to see whether or not audiences are willing to pay that much to see a movie they've been dying to see without actually dying to see it in a theater. The high rental fee is intended to mitigate losing out on major revenue from the box office and help recapture the cost of producing the film, which, according to Variety, was $200 million to make, plus millions more in marketing costs. And recent Disney live-action remakes like Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, and The Lion King, they all made over $1 billion worldwide. And in spite of Disney Plus's reported 57.5 million global subscribers, it's hard to imagine Mulan reaching a similar threshold without a wide theatrical release. Mulan skipping theaters is a massive blow to exhibitors who were banking on a family-friendly movie like Mulan to bring in viewers of all ages after theaters have been shut down for so long. And as the US continues to struggle to contain coronavirus, theaters will remain closed for the foreseeable future. Mulan heading to Disney Plus, as well as the sea change it could portend, is extremely bad news bears for theaters, especially if this isn't just a one-off. So being able to watch something like a brand new blockbuster like, say, Black Widow over a holiday weekend, that would be a massive win for Disney in a year where every non-streaming division of their business seems to just be hemorrhaging money due to this ongoing pandemic. And with a captive audience, and I do mean captive because it's not like they can just go to a movie theater, Disney could dominate the conversation and make back a substantial sum of money with a gambit like Mulan. Now, not only could it bring in new revenue from existing subscribers, but it could bring in new subscribers like Hamilton did earlier this year. And that return on investment would inevitably be even higher for a movie like Black Widow. Multiple people on Twitter told me they would pay $29.99 or higher to watch Black Widow at home. Now, obviously seeing Natasha Romanoff kick butt, take names, and go toe-to-toe with Taskmaster on an IMAX screen would be the preferred method of seeing this, but after a decade of multiple MCU offerings every year, people are getting awfully ant-mancy in its absence. Now, if Mulan proves that Disney can make their big-budget movies make money through a premium VOD model, then Black Widow could easily follow suit. Funhouse's Elise Willems had a very wise read on this situation when she wrote, "I think if there's not an upturn in recovery in global market/COVID, we could see Black Widow come out on Thanksgiving weekend." Now again, all of this is contingent on whether or not Disney's Grand Mulan experiments actually yields dividends. Either way, fans will finally get a chance to see director Niki Caro's sprawling remake for themselves on September 4th. But in the meantime, tell me, what do you think? Would you pay $29.99 to see Mulan at home? How much would you pay to watch a movie like Black Widow at home? Do you prefer to see movies at the theater, or are you okay with this new trend of premium VOD? Let's discuss in the comments below, and for even more deep dives in the latest and greatest in pop culture, make sure that you head to Nerdist.com.